Hello, everyone. Well, my name is Her. I'm just gonna spend a little bit of time documenting and speaking of my journey, my fitness journey, health journey, whatever you want to call it. I consider it a health journey because ultimately, my overall health, that's kind of what drove me to where I am now. So, just a little backstory. Um, I was a pretty big guy. I still am now. I'm working on it, but I recently received some pretty good news, and I wanted to share this to pass the message along to for anyone else who might be struggling. So basically, my story. I last the last 2 years, I think it was 2023. I was at my highest weight. I was about 285 pounds, and I just didn't like the way I was looking or feeling um, prior to me being an adult. Back in my teenage years, I was pretty fit. I would say about 140 to 150 pounds in high school. Yeah, I was pretty fit. I worked out a lot. I ran miles and miles. That was my thing. I loved running. But, as I got older, I had a girlfriend at the time, and we ended up together, but we got married, and then I just started packing on the weight, and that by the time it was 2023, I was just extremely overweight, 285 pounds. 2024, I found out. I woke up one night in the middle of the night with my uh, lower abdomen hurting. It was just right below my sternum, and I wasn't really sure what it was, but after going to the doctors, they had diagnosed me with a fatty liver, and that's where the pain was coming from. So, in a sense, that kind of really motivated me to get my health in line and to, live a better lifestyle. And, it was hard. It was about, I think I started my weight loss journey maybe, I think it was April 2024. But I was working out because I was in the Biggest Loser Challenge. I did that for about a solid 2 months, and I stopped after that. But I did manage to drop from 285 all the way down to 240 ish. Yeah, so a good amount of weight loss there. But it just didn't seem sustainable to me at the time just because I feel like I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have the knowledge. My diet, I just did, small bits and pieces of, not small, but maybe like a half a cup of rice per meal with like chicken breast, broccoli, veggies, what have you, your usual stuff when you try to cut back on some weight. But yeah, um, and then eventually I stopped in June 2024, and then I put back on some weight again. I went up to like 255 ish. And then now, it's 2025 in March 22nd, 2025. That's when I decided to really start taking my health more seriously instead of just doing it for like a challenge or whatnot, really to benefit myself and my health overall. Because I just wasn't happy and my liver was still hurting. And then March 22nd, I started working out, and that following day as well, I started doing a lot of research on fatty liver. And little to my knowledge, I didn't have a lot. I didn't have a lot of knowledge on it at all. I didn't know what was causing it. Yeah, I've been sober for almost a whole year, so I've cut out alcohol, but that didn't seem to be helping at all because my liver was still inflamed, so it was still hurting. But one day, I just stumbled across um, Dr. Jason Fung on YouTube. So shout out to Dr. Jason Fung. He's been awesome, and I've learned so much about intermittent fasting and how that can be like beneficial for your health. How that can you, he touched bases on a lot about like blood sugar, insulin resistance, things like that, and to just fast so you can better regulate um, those things like your blood sugars as well. So shout out to Dr. Jason Fung. He's he's what they would say is that all heroes don't wear capes, and Dr. Jason Fung is one of them. And I commend him for the work that he has done. And it's all free on YouTube. If you guys are experiencing the same things, I would highly recommend you guys to check out his channel. I'll probably put a link down in the description to go to his channel here. But yeah, he was highly informative, and I am truly grateful for what he did or what he has done on his channel. But yeah, I learned a lot about the fatty liver, and essentially, the fatty liver is essentially quote unquote a sugar liver. So I didn't understand that beforehand. That's why I thought quitting alcohol would help my liver, which it probably did. But I didn't understand the science behind it, which kept causing my liver to hurt until I did some more digging through Dr. Jason's Fung's videos. He did a very good job explaining it, and you know how like if you have too much sugar in your system and your liver can't pack away anymore, all the fructose and stuff you consume, it just gets turned into sugar, and then it gets released to your bloodstream. That's how you have um, high blood sugars, and then that leads to like insulin resistance, things like that. It's a whole segment. So yeah, go check out his stuff. It's awesome content. But yep, in 2024, I learned that I was also pre-diabetic, and I also had a fatty liver. Yep. And then on the side note, I've been dealing with gout since 2017, I want to say. So, so gout definitely has had an effect on my lifestyle. Just because I get it on my joints, it's just not in my toes. It's in my ankles. It's even gone up to my knees. I've actually had it in my spine before. I feel like, although I've asked a doctor and they said that's not possible, but I swear it was because it really hurt. And yeah, but I've also gotten it in my knuckles. Yeah, just all over, and it's really bad. So I decided I wanted to make a change and, fight for my life because, like Dr. Jason Fung said, you only get one body, so one life. You got to start living like a landlord and, not a client. So that really hit me when he said that. And shout out to Dr. Jason Fung again. Um, so I just want to raise awareness in how I kind of did on my journey right now. A month and a half ago, March 22nd, 2025, I decided to transition my eating habits or my diet, you would say, from just whatever, processed food, junk food, extreme carbohydrates, just because I'm Asian, so we eat a lot of rice, right? So I decided to transition from all that to a ketogenic diet, so more rich in fats and also good in protein, a good amount of protein, and then very low carbs. So the important thing here is that when you're taking a lot of fats in, it makes you feel more satiated, right? So in a sense, you're tricking your brain because you don't need all these carbs to function. Just because I'm a bigger guy, so I have all this carb ready. It's just stored in a form of glucose, right? So um, yeah, so I don't need all the extra carb intakes. I can get my daily nutrients or macros in carbs in the forms of veggies. So also learned that through Dr. Berg. Shout out to Dr. Berg. Learned a lot of things through his channel as well. He does a good deal and portion about healthy keto instead of like a dirty keto, right? So yeah, healthy keto involves a lot of veggies. Good for you. Helps you feel satiated. It helps you meet your macros, your nutrients to feed those. Forgot what it calls microbes, whatever. I'll have to check my facts on that. But yeah, learned a whole lot deal about that. So go check out his channel too. I'll probably link that in the description too. But yeah, I switched to a full time ketogenic diet. I have to say, the first 4 to 5 days, they were the hardest. Um, Definitely very mentally challenging. Um, Mentally challenging. I wouldn't say it was physically challenging, just because I've been working out too. I try to work out every day, but yeah, definitely very mentally challenging. Um, when you deprive your body of carbs and then you just cut it all out, like rice, processed carbs, like donuts, your cookies, whatever you want to call it, candy, all that stuff. Yeah, so I cut out carbs, bad carbs at least, and I've also cut out sugars. And within, it's been a month and a half. Right now is um, May 9th, 2025. So it's been a month and a half, just about. And I went and um, did a fibro scan. So a fibro scan of the liver. I just did that yesterday and received some good news from my doctor. Says that I'm within normal range of fats within my liver. So I no longer have a fatty liver, but I do have some scarring, just a little bit of scarring. So it's not too bad. I think it's like grade 0 to 1, around that range. So it's not nothing serious, nothing that can be reversed, you know. So I'm extremely thankful, um, and yeah, definitely the ketogenic diet helped a lot, because when you feed your body just fats, your liver will primarily burn that fat off first when you're working out. And then as soon as you deplete those fat resources, then um, it'll start to empty out your sugar bowl. And that is stored in the form of glycogen. Learned that through Dr.JasonFung as well. I have all this sugar, all these carbs within my body. I just never gave it the opportunity to be released. And I was kind of iffy on it at first, but I was so desperate at the time that I just decided to give it a try. And, I did keto for a month and a half along with intermittent fasting. And my starting weight, I was about 255. Month and a half later, now I'm at 226. So I know some of that is water weight, but at the same time, a lot of that is at the same time, I've been working out, so I noticed that I have gotten stronger. I'm lifting more weights. My body has slimmed down substantially, and I'm super happy of it. Yeah, I got my test back, and my liver is looking great again. So I'm extremely happy. I just wanted to spread the awareness with you guys, spread some awareness with you guys, just so whoever else is struggling with, health issues, say even fatty liver, diabetic issues, you can definitely reverse it. You just have to be committed into doing so. But yeah, I did intermittent fasting along with keto. Um, I When I first started intermittent fasting, it was very hard because my blood sugars were still unstable. But I just trained myself. I started out small, doing like a 16-hour fast and then an 8-hour eating window. And then gradually, when my body was able to adapt, say I like 2 weeks later, I eventually increased that to 18 hours and then 20 hours to 4 hours eating window, right? So on and so forth. So right now I'm currently doing 20 hours fasting and then 4 hour eating window. Um, One thing I do like to implement into my my weekly lifestyle too, is that on a Friday, I like to eat, I like to implement the OMAD diet. So I eat once at noon and I fast for 24 hours until the next day too. And yeah, or I do notice a big difference. Um, it helps with my blood sugars, which I was having issues at some point with as well. So yeah, I would recommend um, slowly building up to that point, because you're not just, if you're new at this, you're not going to be able to just fast for 24 hours or 20 hours. That's extremely difficult, as especially if you have blood sugar issues. And um, so yeah. Anyways, that's what I did for intermittent fasting. I did that along with keto. I only ate twice in a day, but at the same time, I made sure not to miss any macros. Chat GBT is awesome. If you just go into Google and search, calculate how much calories you should be eating a day, I just threw that into Chat GBT, and they like prepared a whole day's worth of meals for me. So um, I didn't follow it, through and through, but I did follow it for the most part. So I'm eating very clean, a lot of veggies, and it's been extremely good. Yeah, and I feel great. And I have lots of energy. I can do more now without taking naps all the time. Um, I just overall, I just feel great, and I've lost some weight. This is not the end for me. I'm not planning to stop here. I'm currently 226, but my goal weight is actually like 160. I think that's a good range for, or a good weight for me, just because I was 160 before, and I felt great at that weight. Wasn't too skinny, wasn't too big, just perfect. So I still plan on dropping, the next 65 pounds. I don't know how long that'll take, but I just plan to slowly work my way there, because this is not a race at all. If you guys are struggling and you guys are looking to lose weight, better your health too, I really want you guys to understand that it's not a race. Yes, it is very nice when you wake up in the morning and you weigh yourself, and then a week has gone by and you've dropped like 6 pounds. Yes, it feels good, but there will be days when or weeks even, when you get on the scale and you weigh the same. And some people might think that, hey, I might be plateauing. But that's not the case. It's because your body is adjusting. You need to give your body time to adjust. Your body is also building muscles when you're working out and when you're eating cleaner. Yeah. So if you're working out, your body is building muscles, and you have to remember that muscles are heavier than fats. So just be wary of that, because I've hit a few plateaus as well, but I remained consistent, and I persevered through it. And a couple weeks later, or even a week later, I noticed my weight started dropping again. So yeah, it's number one rule, or number one thing here: just remain consistent, because it's really hard to get back into the groove once you kind of just cheat, and or once you kind of stop. Just if you take off like, if for an example, if you take off like 4 weeks of working out, right, you're just gonna feel sluggish when you go back. It's gonna be hard to get back into the grind. So if you want to have one day off to rest, to recover, 2 days off, yeah, that's fine. But uh my body, it's probably different for everyone, but for me, my body, I need to work out at least four times a week, right? Whether that's doing cardio for 1 whole hour, just walking on the treadmill at an incline for 1 whole hour, 3 miles per hour. I feel good doing that. Or if it's a weightlifting session, right, for a whole hour, I feel good. I can take one day off. I could take the whole weekend off, and I'll come back on Monday, and I'll still be able to work out, lift, maybe put on more weights, which is what I've been doing. And yeah, my body is responding well. So maybe you just need to find that fine line for you and what works for you. But word of advice: just don't give up, stay consistent. I promise you the weight will come off if you eat clean, eat whole foods, right? If you don't want to do keto, that's fine. Just count your calories. If But I would recommend doing intermittent fasting because there are a lot of benefits from that. Uh, Two things here that I could think of at the top of my head. When you fast for longer than 16 hours, that's what I've heard. I'm not an expert at this or anything, but if you fast for longer than 16 hours, apoptogy kicks in. And what that is your body goes in and breaks down old, old dead cells, right? So you could just see how that is good for your body, right? It's breaking up old dead cells that could be cancerous, possibly even. So that's good. Um, the other thing was that you also give your gut time to just rest, right? So it's not always working. And this way you can kind of clean your gut out. You'll feel a lot better. So yeah, just two things at the top of my head, but there's probably more that I'm just not aware about. But yeah, remain consistent definitely if you want to see it through, because if you're just gonna go into this and kind of halfway commit, it's not gonna work. You have to go all in, be consistent, be dedicated, because it's definitely not easy. But yeah, um, shout out to Dr. Jason Fung and Dr. Berg again. I'll probably put their links down in the description. They have helped me tremendously, and I am super grateful for them both. Um, and yeah, I'm looking to, decrease my weight down to 160, like I said, for you guys. And I'm looking for any tips. I'm still looking to improve myself, improve my knowledge on how, the body works and how everything else works and overall in health. I think I'm barely just scratching the surface on, overall health. I thought I knew a lot back then, but I actually don't. And, now that I'm looking into it, there's actually a whole lot, but I'm kind of understanding it now. But yeah, um, any feedback, any comments, feel free to leave them down in the description and I'll check it out. And yeah, I will update you guys in probably a month, the next month here, to see how the weight loss journey is going. But yeah, appreciate it. Peace and love. Take care.